president was asked about his former top advisor, Steve Bannon, who has now been indicted in a fraud scheme with the We Build the Wall campaign. $25 million, it's alleged that he and 3 others defrauded people who donated to that fundraising campaign. What did the president say?
He said that he felt badly for Steve Bannon, though he tried to distance himself. And we see him do this a lot when his former close associates, former top advisors are criminally charged. This is pretty much the same approach he took to former campaign chairman Paul Manafort. On the one hand, he would say he felt sorry for him, he had been wronged, but then tried to put space between Manafort's alleged criminal conduct and himself. And here, that's exactly what you heard. He said he felt badly for his former chief strategist, but that he hadn't talked to him in a while. He didn't have anything to do with this We Build the Wall project. And the president also said that he was vocal about his concerns about this project. The president said he didn't think this was something that should be privately fundraised for, and that he had some doubts about this project. And so far, there is no indication, of course, that the president was involved in this at all, beyond the fact that Steve Bannon was campaigning and fundraising off of the president's former, really signature campaign promise to build a wall.
Paula, before I let you go, let me ask you about something we didn't get a chance to talk about earlier this morning. The president and his remarks about QAnon yesterday. What are you hearing about what the White House is saying, what people close to the administration are saying about the president and his remarks yesterday that you break down for the audience the questions that were asked yesterday of the president of the United States with this wackadoodle conspiracy theory group and what the president had to say about it and what the White House is saying today.
Let me preface this with my reporting, which is when I have been, it's been a while, but when I've been at Trump campaign events and gone around and spoken with the president's supporters, QAnon does frequently come up. Many of the people that I spoke with said that they follow the QAnon conspiracy theory and that they buy it. And these are people that I'm interviewing at Trump events. Now, the president, his surrogates, they have been asked about QAnon on and off. They've often tried to distance themselves. The spokeswoman here at the White House, she's often just said, I've never discussed that with the president. But yesterday, the president was asked directly again about this, and he gave the conspiracy theory a major boost. He described folks who believe in this theory as, quote, people that love our country. Now, the reporter who asked about this was pretty specific. I mean, she laid out that this particular conspiracy theory believes that the president is leading sort of a crusade behind the scenes to purge the government, to help combat a cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Now, this conspiracy theory first started popping up on message boards in about 2017 from a so-called government insider identified as Q. Throughout the Mueller campaign, there were a lot of different theories about how Mueller really factored into this overall conspiracy. It just turned out not to be true. Now, I recently heard someone have a really hot take that I actually agreed with on whether the president would actually be involved in this conspiracy. And they said, look, if the president was really protecting the country against a satanic cult full of cannibals or pedophiles, do you think he would keep it a secret? And I really do think that's arguably one of the best arguments against the QAnon theory, which is that if the president really was protecting the world from this kind of activity, he wouldn't keep it to himself. He would likely be tweeting about it. So far, there's really nothing to substantiate this. But yesterday, the president, he could have shot it down. He could have said, look, I just don't believe that, or no, that's not true. Instead, he praised this group, but he's a couple months away from re-election, and it appears he's fighting for every vote. This is not the first time we have seen the president indulge conspiracy theories or appeal to sort of these base conspiracy theories to drum up support. He really will take support, apparently, wherever he can get it.
It's a great point that you make there, Paula, and I think that it's not been talked about a lot, so I'm glad that you made it here with us. And, the fact that the president seemed to indicate that he doesn't know much about them, but he knows that they like him, and for him, that's a win. Any way he can get it, he will. I thought that was also interesting yesterday. I'm curious, though, if you've heard anything from administration officials. I mean, I know that Kayleigh McEnany, the White House press secretary, was on Fox News in the last couple of hours. She was asked about it even on Fox News, and she sort of pivoted away from that. But have you heard anything from others in the administration about how they feel? We've heard from some Republicans, clearly, who are not comfortable with this kind of language, who are certainly not comfortable with this group. At one point, the president, as you know, Paula, championed somebody who won an election in Florida who is a supporter of QAnon and sort of said that, they represent the future of the Republican Party. And a lot of Republicans saying, no, they don't.
Exactly. This is something that most mainstream Republicans would like to distance themselves from. Most of the officials, particularly on the record on camera here at the White House, have tried to distance themselves from QAnon, dismiss it as something the president doesn't talk about, that's not really a focus here. But the president, by sort of giving them an embrace here, he's really brought it back into the conversation. And there was a lot going on yesterday. He was arguably putting U.S. jobs, American jobs in a swing state in jeopardy by attacking the iconic American company Goodyear in Ohio. We, of course, continue to go through the pandemic. We have the DNC. But by talking about QAnon, the president really sort of shifted a lot of the conversation onto this baseless conspiracy theory.
All right, Paula Reid for us at the White House. As always, Paula, thank you so much. We appreciate it.